we appreciate what he has done so far. But what he has done so far is not enough to bring the crisis to an end. The problem that we say people fail is not failing all. If you score 20 over 100, you have failed. It doesn't mean you did not have anything. I believe doctor will confirm that one. I believe you are marking scripts in school. When students get to 20 over 100, they didn't fail all, but they failed the one that did not allow them to pass. So our president has done his own, but what he has done has not solved the problem. One of the signs of solving a problem is that you bring a practical solution to that problem. If you provide cosmetic solution and the problem still remains, means you have not solved it. Problems are supposed to be solved. The League of Nations came, tried to solve the problems of the world. It could not. The World War break out again. It shows that it was a cosmetic organization that could not solve the problem. If at all what you have done is not enough, add more effort to see how they can bring an end to the challenge. I think the president of this nation has a knife and a yam to solve this problem, because I think he controls and influences most of the people in this nation that make decisions. So to my own opinion, this idea of political parties, they are going to come together, they will never first and foremost come together. Because why? The idea of coming together is first of all a very difficult one, because the government I know is a government that is specialized in dividing.
It has its satellite parties.
It has its parties that will come in the midst of all meaning.
Why would the government not see the coming together as working in its interest? Because the government also wants this stuff to end.
This is where you get it. If the political parties assemble together and bring a solution to the problem, it will discredit the government. Okay. And this government, I know, does not want to be discredited on no account.
Okay, hi Mr. Liu, I love the program of today. It was so interesting. Shu is writing from Mouteng. Oui, vous avez aussi l'impression qu'il y a des politiciens qui ne veulent pas que ça finisse parce que leur
fonds de commerce, on va dire ça comme ça. Oui, mais permettez-moi simplement de dire que de compléter les propos du confrère, cette crise, elle va s'achever.
Tell us why they cannot come together, Prince.
Let Apostle answer.
Why political parties cannot come together?
Yes.
It's the same thing Prince was saying, egocentrism. There's a level of pride. Everybody have their personal manifesto, and they believe their manifesto is the best. PCRM believes their manifesto is what will change Cameroon. MRC the same. That's the reason why if you meet an MRC militant, if Kamto does not say anything, every other person is wrong. Kamto is the alpha and the omega as far as knowledge is concerned. You meet a CPDM man, President Popia is the wisest man that has ever existed and will ever exist. It's like some idolatry of political party president is existing in this nation. People practically worship their president in their party rather than seeing some sense. That's why people don't seem to understand when I come on a platform. Sometimes I don't have a particular thing I begin. I'm a patriot. I'm interested in the well-being of this country. If the government is not doing it well, I will blast. If the other parties are not doing well, I will say what I have to say. If the people are not doing, I'm not going to be taking side, because why? A political analyst is like a referee in a match. You don't blow the match based on your feelings. You blow the match based on the dynamics on the ground. Yeah, so we must understand that political parties in this country will hardly come together. Because everybody have the manifesto. They believe that the manifesto is the alpha and omega. Something happened recently. Results of the Niger election just came out. Mohamed Bouzan was the one that Bazoum that won the elections. 18 political parties formed a coalition and joined the opposition party of Usman Mahane. Yet they were defeated. We are talking about this coalition. Some of these parties have how many militants? We have 301 political parties in Cameroon. Some parties are the president and the secretary, 2 people.
Is that why they never come together?
Why can they come together when everybody is an alpha?
Okay. Est-ce que vous croyez que vous pouviez vous réunir pour vous mettre la pression sur le gouvernement et sur les séparatistes? C'est possible?
Monsieur Léo, elle est extrêmement pertinente, votre question. Je pense que ce que vous dites est très possible, mais nous sommes dans un environnement assez complexe concernant les partis politiques. Assez complexe, pourquoi je le dis? mon confrère tout à l'heure vous a pris un exemple de présidentiel qui s'est passé, où les partis politiques étaient dans l'incapacité à cause des petits détails de se mettre ensemble et former une seule coalition, où il fallait, mon confrère l'a dit, où chacun est l'alpha et l'oméga de son parti, et on a une croyance, on idole, on a le culte de la personne a pris le dessus, mais je pense que face à un problème comme celui du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest, curieusement, si nous écoutons ce que tous ces partis politiques disent, ou alors ils disent pratiquement la même chose, il va falloir que la guerre cesse, il faut que ça cesse. On a pratiquement les mêmes propositions, mais pourquoi ne pas donc réunir ces propositions-là? Moi, je pense que c'est très faisable, si et seulement si les uns et les autres faire taire les égos, et puis pensent plus au Cameroun que nos égos personnels. Parfois même, d'autres pensent à l'intérêt. À l'intérieur, il n'y en a parfois pas d'intérêt personnel, proprement dit. C'est juste une histoire d'ego. Quand je vais accepter m'allier à M. Léon, on va dire que c'est Léo qui a apporté la solution. Quand je vais accepter m'allier au prince Joël, on va dire que c'est le prince Joël qui a apporté la solution. Donc juste ces petits égos font en sorte que ces partis politiques n'arrivent pas à se mettre ensemble. Mais l'urgence, il urge déjà que tous ces partis politiques de l'opposition, et pourquoi même pas avec le RDPC, poussions-nous tous face à ce problème, cette crise qui pollue notre pays aujourd'hui. Ça fait 25 ans.
Tu tombes d'accord avec le
J'ai toujours été d'accord avec le docteur. Moi, mon problème, vous avez même dit tout à l'heure que les partis politiques, j'ai dit tout à l'heure que les partis politiques ne peuvent pas apporter quelque chose. Non, c'est pas ce que j'ai dit. Parce que j'ai refusé qu'on jette la pierre aux partis politiques en disant qu'ils n'ont rien fait. Parce que nous connaissons des partis politiques qui ont essayé, qui ont fait des choses, des propositions et tout. Il y a eu un grand dialogue national. Le PCN en a participé. Et si nous avons participé, c'est uniquement parce que nous voulons trouver une solution à nos problèmes. Et également, récemment, il y a eu les élections régionales. Les élections régionales, nous avons également participé parce que nous avons pensé que c'était la dernière étape pour réellement arriver à la décentralisation tant prônée depuis 24 ans par le président Biya. Donc nous voulions participer parce que tant qu'on nous dit si ici il y a une maigre solution pour pouvoir trouver une solution à ce problème, pour pouvoir arriver à arrêter cette guerre, nous sommes ouverts.
Apostle Ambe, he is saying that there are all the possibilities for these parties to come together, and he's saying that this is the time for them to do so if they want an end to the crisis. But we have not seen them do that in the past 4 years. Is it also because some politicians are benefiting from the situation that is ongoing in the southwest and northwest regions, and are even afraid that fixing the problem may take them out of their comfort positions today?
This song has been sung in many occasions that politicians are practically benefiting from this crisis. That one is something that is very obvious. You don't expect to pull food from someone's mouth and watch him do it like that. Just watch the person watch you do it like that. It's not possible. I think if there is a way out of this crisis, and I will still repeat it, is that the president has the capacity. We appreciate what he has done so far, but what he has done so far is not enough to bring the crisis to an end. The problem that we say people fail is not failing all. If you score 20 over 100, you have failed. It doesn't mean you did not have anything. I believe doctor will confirm that one. I believe you are marking scripts in school. When students get to 20 over 100, they didn't fail all, but they failed the one that did not allow them to pass. So our president has done his own, but what he has done has not solved the problem. One of the signs of solving a problem is that you bring a practical solution to that problem. If you provide cosmetic solution and the problem still remains, means you have not solved it. Problems are supposed to be solved. The League of Nations came, tried to solve the problems of the world. It could not. The World War break out again. It shows that it was a cosmetic organization that could not solve the problem. If at all what you have done is not enough, add more effort to see how they can bring an end to the challenge. I think the president of this nation has a knife and the yam to solve this problem, because I think he controls and influences most of the people in this nation that make decisions. So to my own opinion, this idea of political parties, they are going to come together, they will never first and foremost come together. Because why? The idea of coming together is first of all a very difficult one, because the government I know is a government that is specialized in dividing.
It has its satellite parties.
It has its parties that will come in the midst of
But why would the government not see the coming together as working in its interest? Because the government also wants this stuff to end.
This is where you get it. If the political parties assemble together and bring a solution to the problem, it will discredit the government.
Okay.
And this government I know does not want to be discredited on no account.
Okay, hi Mr. Liu, I love the program of today. It was so interesting. Shu is writing from Mutengene. Oui, vous avez aussi l'impression qu'il y a des politiciens qui ne veulent pas que ça finisse parce que ils en
Leur fonds de commerce, on va dire ça comme ça. Oui, mais permettez-moi simplement de dire que de compléter les propos du confrère, cette crise, elle va s'achever. Croyons simplement au chef de l'État, accompagnons-le et ayons des comportements responsables et citoyens. Je vous assure, cette guerre va s'achever. Il y a toute une économie de guerre qui s'est construite autour des personnes qui ne voudraient même plus qu'elle prenne fin parce que...
Order on the panel today. Alex is writing from Boya. Good evening to you, Alex. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Please ask everybody why is it that the PM can come up to in the name of the father of this country? Why not himself to come to and talk to his people? Nelson is writing from DOP. Good evening, Mr. Liu, my favorite program. Please, Mr. Journalist, accord more time to the apostle. I just love to hear him talk. Mwafwe Edward writing from Bafu Sam. Okay. Good evening to you all in the studio. The quietness of our senators and parliamentarians just proves democracy is absent in our country. Terence is writing from Mutengene. Apostle Ambe, Valentine Ngwa, are we also in a clear situation of a divide between the elected officials and those who supposedly elected them today?
Of course, I said it earlier. Before I get to that, I want to talk about the sovereignty of Cameroon.
Okay.
You see, when we get back to history, during the First World War, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife were shot down in Serbia by a Serbian radical called Gavrilo Princip. Gavrilo Princip shot them and they died. Serbia was a sovereign state. And you see, certain international punishments were given on Serbia.
Because of that action.
Because of that action. So if you tell us that Cameroon is not sovereign, avoiding it from being connected to international laws or sanctioned to international laws. The U.S. Senate has a clause in its constitution, Article 684, that operates its foreign missions. Go and check the U.S. Senate. It operates its foreign mission. The United Nations is the United States, in other words. And since the president cannot carry every responsibility, there is a part of the Senate that deals with the foreign missions. And it is that Senate that sent the information to Cameroon, the government, and also to the separatists, because the Senate did not write only to the Cameroonian government. We have not seen the separatists from their own head unanimously write and ask them to stop. But we see the government writing, asking the people to stop. That tells you that there is something that is not balanced. Secondly, if the senators that wrote was not from a political party, it was both Republican, because the statement says it was a joint partisan,
Republican and Democrats.
Yes, joint partisan Senate members that wrote to. What Joel is trying to say is this: if at all the political parties in Cameroon unanimously joined to send this petition to the House of the U.S. Congress, it would have been somehow reasonable. But it is the cabal that controls the activities, and they don't want their interests to be touched, because they know if at all foreign bodies walk into this country, they will be found guilty. So it is not in the name of the assembly.
Okay, they're defending their interests.
That is defending their interests. So that's what we're trying to say here.
Okay.
End of there.
So now, but is this situation not dangerous, where we claim that the representatives do not represent their people? And
I have not. I answered the question on the Senate. I have not answered the issue of the divide amongst the people who are elected and the ones. You and I are here. We saw a woman that came up in the main market. stood and told that the mayor we have here, we didn't elect the mayor. I'm talking about
on microphone.
I'm talking about practical testimony.
We pray she's still alive. Let's pray she's still alive.
She said, we know that the mayor Mr. Leo, that one alone tells you how the parliamentarians and the mayors found themselves in those different councils, legislative council and constituencies. Is to tell us that we have people who are councillors of Batibo, mayors of Batibo, mayors of Bafut, councillors are staying in Douala. They have cut as councillors, but they don't live in their constituencies. Send the timber and the cocoa and the fuel in Northwest and Southwest. When it comes to Bameta man dying, Bafut man dying, Kambe man dying, and a man from Ja Elobo does not die. A man from Faro Edeo does not die. A man from Baturi does not die. It is not a matter of Cameroon again, it's a matter of NOSO. Carry your trouble as a region. Bring the resources as a nation. I'm here as a political analyst, and that's what I'm going to say. The parliament is the strongest arm in every nation. In Rwanda, Paul Kagame wanted to go out of power. The parliament sat down, revamped the constitution, and begged him to come back. That's the strength of a parliament. John Pombe Magufuli in Tanzania, he has refused a third term in office. The parliament sat down, revamped constitution, and begged him to come back. He refused. That is the strength of a parliament. But we have a presidentialist system of government where all parliamentarians are like robots. They are only controlled through buttons from the executive bureau. You go down to Cote d'Ivoire. The parliament sat down in 2016 through the influence of the executive party of Alassane Ouattara, Adama Bitogo. They changed constitution and gave Alassane Ouattara a third term in office. That's the strength of the parliament. What has the Senate said since this crisis started? A parliament where a subject is not even permitted to be raised tells you that the parliamentarians are robots who are being controlled. A parliament where one of the parliamentarians stands up to raise up this issue, he is chased tooth and nail out of the country. How do you explain that we have a parliament where the parliamentarians are being remote controlled? We have a Senate where we go there to gather and collect the grants given to senators. We drive good cars. Why the people we represent in the parliament are crying? I have said the international community will never intervene because why? If a child cries in the house and the father gives the impression that nothing is wrong, nobody will run for the child's rescue. The people who are supposed to cry for the Northwest and Southwest people are supposed to be the fathers who are called parliamentarians and senators that represent those constituencies. But since the father is quiet, the cry of the child makes no meaning. The fathers are immune, they are legal, they are elected, they have jurisdiction, both within international and national laws. They have the capacity to cause chaos. But they have been quiet because why? As long as money has closed the mouth. I told somebody that we go to school, defend thesis, carry out research, and come back to sell that knowledge for something lesser than the money we pay for the thesis. A doctorate degree holder will come back from school after investing billions in education. But because he belongs to a party, the truth he studied in school with all thesis is being bought with a salary of 600,000 francs. That is to say, what you invested in education because of politics is being bought with something lesser than what you invested. Where is this nation going to? All those who are in the respective places know the truth. But what they are giving them, even lesser than what they spend to get that truth, is not coming out of their mouth. Cameroon has a journey. I mean a journey.
Okay, Dr. Simo, but are you also comfortable with what our MPs have been doing, or they are also helpless? You think they're helpless? We've talked about the fact that the president of the...
Qui n'est pas descendu. Nous savons tous comment il agit.
Okay.
Si un ministre va par le biais du chef de l'État et dans des actions de reconfort du chef de l'État, vous n'allez pas dire qu'il n'a pas assisté.
Okay,
il a été présent d'une manière ou d'une autre. Ça, il faut le reconnaître.
Very briefly.
Very briefly, what we have in the Northwest and Southwest now are pressure groups, not militants of parties. Secessionists is not a political party. Federalists are not a political party. Independentists are not a political party. They are pressure groups. And I want us to accept this simple fact that what we have now in the Northwest and the Southwest are not political parties. They are not militants of a political party. They are pressure groups. They are looking for something that political party are not looking for, because if they're a political party, they will not catch Fundi and flock him. That's the president of the national party. If they were a political party, they will not want to eliminate every minister that belongs to the CPDM in that environment. Militants don't kill their superiors. Militants don't kidnap their superiors. Militants don't torture their superior. So I don't think there are when this
Batibo, we've not seen them. Are they afraid of their militants?
How does a political party create a parliamentarian in a place where the parliamentarian is not staying there? Is it ghost parliamentarian? According to the Quebec statutes in Canada, one of the obligations of a parliamentarian or a senator is to live within the vicinity where he's elected, the constituency, so that he knows the very life of the people, what they are going through, their challenges, so that he can take it now, go to the Senate or to the Parliament and present it as a worry. A parliamentarian lives in Yaoundé, and he is the one that has the constituency of Batibo. He is watching his constituency through Facebook and television. Then you expect him to go and sit in the glass house and talk what is happening in Batibo. Is that not magic? We have mayors who have councils. They are not staying in the council. They have carried council and put in a bag. They are signing birth certificate for Batibo in a day. They are signing birth marriage certificate for Batibo in Yaoundé. The mayor has a council in his back. I'm talking about Cameroon, green, red, yellow. People are carrying constituencies in their backs, carrying councils in their backs. Then you are telling me that they are not represented in the environment, so they were not elected, they were appointed. And since they were appointed, they do not have a say, because he that fits you controls you. He that appoints you has an influence over you. And these are offices we expected the masses to have chosen their leaders. But what is so bad is that elected offices in Cameroon have become offices of appointment, which is very bad. Mayors are appointed.
Yeah, you are talking about elected officials. We are going to come to them. I'm talking about national political parties. We have
those parties are not the ones that produce the elected officials.
No, I mean that we are talking about how close are they to the suffering population of the Southwest and Northwest regions. We have their national political parties. We would have expected that since their militants are suffering in Kambe, their militants are suffering in Batibo, their militants are suffering in Kembong, we should see these national presidents of political parties in solidarity, at least to feel what these people are going through, but hardly do we see them there.
If I'm a political party that ask me that question, I will channel it to my representative in that region. I cannot divide myself in all the regions. So when we are talking about political parties, we should be talking about the representatives of the political parties in specific places.
Do you see them on
if
ground?
I thought the national chairman of SDF has to hear the worry of those in Batibo, it is his representative there, which is a parliamentarian or the senator, that has to carry the report to him. So if the political party is supposed to be represented by his chairman, then the chairman was supposed to be connected by his representative there. I'm telling you that even the representatives who are supposed to carry information to the chairman, that will cause the entire party gang to come down and see the worry of the people, is not even present. It's like you are an eye to me, and the eye that I kept there is no longer there. How do I see?
You are more powerful. Yeah, you are more powerful than the eye. So if the eye is not there, why don't you go down there?
The eye was not appointed by you. The eye was elected. That's a danger.
But that's my question. No, my question is, let's take the
do you think Fundi can just get up and sack in the document? It's not possible.
I'm saying that we are going to come to elected officials. You're talking about elected officials.
Yes.
I'm talking about national parties. Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel was here yesterday. He has a party that is national. It is supposed that he has representatives in the Southwest and Northwest regions. We have Kabranibi's party. We have Prince Ekoso and a host of others. Do we see them Because if their representatives are not there because they don't have the means, but you have all the means as the head of the party. Yes.
Of the party.
Do we see them actually feeling what the people are going through?
Who is not afraid of his head?
Are they not their militants? Are they afraid of their militants?
Listen, we have to be. The problem we have on this platform, on TV, sometimes is that we are trying to make things go. No, I don't want. I don't want us to
okay, you mean they don't have militants down there?
Who's militants?
Okay, this is what I wanted to know.
Just to say something here, to pass very quickly.
Okay. Who's militants?
Mr. Leo,
Please,
Mr. Leo, I want just to precise that.
So,
I think in 2017 or in 2018,
Mr. Leo,
please.
How do you explain that all people have escaped into the bushes in CPDA has 56,000 voters in that place?
Permit me to say something.
People are living in the bushes. Where did they register? When did they get electoral cards? On what polling station did they vote? Do you hear that the ruling party have 50,000? Is it ghosts that voted the party in that place where all gone to the bushes? I don't know where we are. They have no militants there because most of the people have left political parties. They have another dream.
Okay.
It will shock you to understand that the people were SDF, but no longer SDF people. They are standing up for something different.
So these are people who are claiming that they have national parties. They don't have militants. No, Dr. Simon.
Merci, Léo. Moi, je dis.
Nobody should see me as if I belong on a particular team. That one should be cleared out, and every audience should understand that. I'm not here to back a particular party or a government or an activist. I am here as a political analyst to analyze situation and give people education how to run crisis. I think that point is properly clear. Considering the case of political parties and elected officials in Cameroon, I would say if the crisis has escalated to this level, they have not taken their responsibilities. Studying analysis from other countries and other places in the world, you will realize that members of the Senate and the Parliament have a very pivotal role in quenching down crisis in most countries. And if at all they take up the responsibility to carry out the acts needed by them, I'm sure they have the capacity to pour water on a flame. This crisis has gone to where it is today because our parliamentarians are not patriotic, number one. Number two, they are not interested in the well-being of the people they sit over their constituencies. How do I explain this? It is very certain. I said something yesterday that Franklin T. Roosevelt said that patriotism is not standing by a president, it's standing by a nation. It's important the parliamentarians who have been voted by the masses to stand by the nation rather than stand by a president. But it's rather unfortunate that most of the parliamentarians are even appointed, they are not elected. And that's the reason why they don't even have full control to exhibit or exercise their authority. A clear case is what happened in 1953. When things go wrong and in a particular parliament it is not brought up, the parliamentarians have the right to walk out of that parliament. We are not talking about raising up the Anglophone issue anymore in the parliament. Since it has been suppressed and cancelled on many occasions, they have to walk out. In 1953, our fathers walked out of the Eastern Regional House in Nigeria, and the solution came out. In the Barcelona, who walked out of Catalonia, who walked out of the Spanish parliament, a solution came in immediately. The issue is not raising up the problem again in the parliament because it has not been allowed to be raised up. The issue now is walking out. I'm sure the walking out will cause a lot of commotion that the matter should be brought because there are many ways to catch a rat. If you propose an idea, they refuse, then the next thing is violence. And the violence is so-called civil disobedience. It's not carrying guns. It's not carrying bombs. If they walk out of the House of Parliament and refuse to attend sessions and refuse to submit to the norms of the Parliament, I'm sure that's civil disobedience that can call the Parliament to order to see that they address this case, because almost 4 years running right now, this matter has not been properly addressed in the Parliament. Now, if all the parliamentarians that come from the region, I'm not talking about political party, whether you're from PCRN, you're from MRC, or from CPDM, whether you're from SDF, as long as you are a senior or a parliamentarian from that particular region, and your constituency has been touched, your party differences should be kept aside. I've said this over and over. When COVID-19 struck Ghana, there were different political parties in the nation, but political parties were kept aside, and then they rallied behind the incumbent president to fight a common goal, because the health of the entire Ghanaians was at stake, not the head of political party. So if we put political party ahead in front of the well-being of the people, we are jeopardizing the masses at our own personal satisfaction. So political parties should be put aside when you are fighting a goal in order to address issues that are on ground.
But do you have the impression that, aside the MPs that you raised, do you have the impression that the political parties themselves, we have the CPRN of Cabral Libi, CRM of Professor Maurice Kamto, we have the Social Democratic Front, and a host of others. Do you think they have done enough to show interest of wanting this crisis to be done with?
How do parties that are practically satellite parties to the ruling party, how do you expect them to bite a finger that fits them? All these other parties you hear in the parliament are satellite parties to the ruling party, so they are unable to even bite the finger that fits them. What has Kabali spoken so far as far as the crisis is concerned? Nothing. I'm a Cameroonian, I didn't fall from space, except his partner here would tell me if he spoke anything. Frundi is a person who has even attempted speaking, even though he has said a lot of things. Because why? I'm sure he's not just speaking as SDF, he's speaking as a man that comes from that region and understands the pains of the people. MRC is using the crisis as a political bait to achieve his personal interest. So we get to the political parties and begin to see together they may throw words in the crisis for their self-aggrandizement, not because they have the people at heart. And I think if political parties have to take up the responsibility in this nation, then all their constituents and the parliamentarians are supposed to rally with all the parliamentarians from those constituents who are suffering to walk out of that parliament. That's the truth.
Okay, Manly Marco, good evening to you. You see, why do you block people from not commenting? I'm not sure, Marco. I don't know anybody has blocked you. I don't think so. Nobody is blocking anybody from commenting. That is to Manly Marco, who is raising that. Good evening